we're going to have the national anthem by David Hurt.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, for the ramparts we watched were so proudly gleaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, came through the night, and our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, David. Next, we're going to have Ann Feeney doing International. The people who saw fit to come all the way from the Philippines, Korea, and Japan. Let's give that delegation a great hand. And also, while we're giving thanks, we have another person in the audience that I think that we need to show our appreciation for, and that's Sam Kagel's with her, Miss Kagel. I told her if she wanted to say something to stand up, and we'd let her say a few words here today.
I simply wanted to say that if Sam was here, he would honor your solidarity, and he would celebrate your ability to remember your history and why you're here and how you stick with it.
Thank you. On the program, it says next Bill Ward is going to speak, but unfortunately for us, and very fortunately for Southern Cal, Bill went to Southern Cal to speak at their Bloody Thursday, which for those of you who don't know, these big events, ceremonies, commemorating the death and the life of the ILWU is going on up and down the coast. So that's why Bill Ward couldn't be with us today. But we do have somebody here that I feel is important to the ILWU, the movement, the whole ball of wax, and that's Cleophas Williams, the former president, first black president of the ILWU.
Good afternoon. I want to thank George Cobbs, our chairman, I want to thank all of you for coming. I want to acknowledge also Mrs. Cagle, Sam Cagle's widow. I want to acknowledge all the fighters for freedom who have come from all over the world. People who died to make this union. We pay homage and commemorate their passing and their struggle. The 1934 strike 75 years ago opened the door for respect for workers all over the world. A general strike, people in all categories hanging the hook. What it means to hang the hook. We did hang the hook for all causes. We had no benefits in 1946 for the 1946 strike. We had very few benefits for the 48 strike. And for our great leader, Harry Bridges, said, we're going to have welfare. We're going to have hospitalization in Dillon. We thought he was dreaming. This man has to be dreaming to talk of this kind of stuff. Working people to have health benefits. When you had a vacation, you took it on your own. When you got sick, you took it on your own. When your wife got pregnant and had babies, you took it on your own. Or you took it to the general hospital. We have all those benefits now as a result of struggle. Struggle. Fighting for what you believe, fighting for what is right. We commemorate those persons who have gone before us. I came here when I was 20 years old, to the waterfront when I was 20 years old, February 15th, 1944. I challenge anyone who came at that time or came before me. I think Nate came before me. I don't know whether he came as a longshoreman or not. But that's when I came to the waterfront. All of my working years have come from waterfront dollars to educate my children, to buy homes for us to live in, automobiles for us to drive, vacations for us to take, things that people can have with dignity that came as a result of that big strike 75 years ago, when they hung the hook for what they believed, when they hung the hook for those who passed on before us. Thank you for coming out, and have a great day, our brothers and our sisters from all over the world.
Our next speaker is going to be also a former president, and he now serves in the capacity of the treasurer of the Pensioners Group in San Francisco Bay Area, Joe Lucas.
He's probably out there right now.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm here to give some courage to our young brothers. I've been retired for 14 years, and this is the first time I've spoken to you when you was worried about picking a job. Every time I spoke to you before, you was wondering how many jobs you was going to work. But I just want to let you know that this is not the first time that this has happened. It happened in 1963. It happened in 1971. That's under my administration, but now it happened sometime before me, I'm sure. But these times, that I was around. And don't forget that all of these things that you had and you still have, and they came from the life that those two men there gave. And it's because of this Union Hall. Some of you thought maybe that you had a good relationship with the employees and he loved you and all of that stuff. But now you're back here. So remember, this is the place where you came from. And don't never forget it, brothers. Don't never forget it. I'm sure that some of you are not going to like what I'm going to say, but I'm going to tell you the truth because the truth's going to make you free. And if you want to be free, you got to hear the truth. So remember, when times go bad with you, don't panic because help is on the way. Just like you said, I've been through this. And I'm here now, so it's just going to get better. But you're going to have to realize that it's not going to be like it has always been for a while anyway. So that I wanted to let you know. Now I'm going to end up with the poem called If. And they say if is the smallest word in human speech. And some have said it's the smallest word in the Bible. I'm not sure. But if you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance of their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired in waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies. Or being hated, don't give away to hating. I never look too good, nor talk too wise. If you can make one heap of all of your winnings and risk it on one turn or pitch or toss, and lose and start again at your beginning, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your term long after they are gone, to hold on when there is nothing in you except the will that says to them, hold on. If you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by gavels to make traps for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. If you can walk with crowds and keep your virtue, or talk with kings, not lose your common touch. If neither fowls nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much. If you can forgive the unforgiven minute, with 60 seconds worth the distant run, yours are the earth and everything that's in it. You will make a man, my woman, and my son.
Our next speaker is going to be Ralph Rucker.
Well, being the rookie of the speakers, I've waited my time like everybody should in this union. The one thing about Bloody Thursday, you must remember, you are what makes Bloody Thursday, not us. When you show up, you're not giving up a day. You're here to get educated. From us, the older people, and the younger people have ideas too. And there's one thing, I'm lucky. I got to follow people like Cleophas, Joe Mosley, Joe Lucas, George Cobbs. A lot of other people are involved. But I mean, this is our group and the pensioners, and we're pushing for the pensioners to keep going too. And the one thing is, we need more pensioners, and we do need help upstairs. But everybody is trying to lay the groundwork. We need people to carry on. The younger people got to come forward. Like when we came in the union, I was younger, 28, and this would be my 41st year. Cleopas got around 70 years or more, him and Joe Mosley, and they put a lot into it. We always don't agree, but we do get along, and we do sit up there and try to make it better for everyone. I came in '69, and that was the worst 6 years. It took me 6 years to get my book. So all you young people out there, I'm encouraging you, don't give this up. This is the best job in the world. People have fought to get you what you have today, and you got to be the fighters in the future. If you're not going to fight, you're going to end up like the other unions going under. And this union here is a fighting union. They come to Local 10. When Kenneth Riley got into trouble in South Carolina, where'd he come? To the most militant local he could find. And that was Local 10. He came to for support in South Carolina. When he had his own ILA, would not help him. We stepped forward and we got our whole coast on his side and helped him pull out a victory. Without the ILWU when they started in '34, we wouldn't be what we are today. People look forward to coming to our functions because they get educated. We're militant, we're tough, and that's where you got to be. Because that employer is for that employer. He ain't for you. I sat in on the last negotiations from March till Harry Bridges' birthday. And this is the first time it will ever happen. We got a tentative contract on Harry Bridges' birthday. If that ain't the best present we could give Harry, I don't know what is. And it was a 6-year contract. A lot of people out here says, 6 years. I'm stuck with a 6-year contract. I bet you're sure the hell happy you got a 6-year contract now. I mean, I sat in there, didn't miss a day with Bill Ward. Bill Ward got a little sick, but we sat there and we helped Big Bob. Big Bob and that whole committee, if you could see it. You had to be there to see what they did, this function. They would not pass anything unless it was 100% by this negotiating committee. And I'll tell you what, they did a hell of a job. You see what you got now. And the next group that comes forward is going to have to do the same. We got to be the fighters. We got to be aggressive. And you know what? We're right. Because we got this to always come back to. Joe said it and everybody else. The most important thing you got right here, this hiring hall. This hiring hall is what's going to make you or break you. And if you lose this, don't be a damn fool. You better keep it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ralph. Next, we're going to have Ben Johnson come and speak.
Where I lie down, worn out, others will stand, young and fresh. But by the steps that I have cut, they will climb. By the stairs that I have built, they will mount. They may never know the names of the persons that built them. And at the clumsy work, they will laugh. And when the stones roll, they will curse. But by my stairs they will climb, and by my work. Good morning, the officers, distinguished guests, members, and friends. It is an honor and a privilege to stand here in the place of my father, Joe Johnson, number 4193. It was he, along with so many others, Harry Bridges Defense Committee, the Cleophas Williams, the Leroy Kings, the Joe Lucases, the Henry Smiths, the Jimmy Hermans, too many names to name, that built these stairs on which we stand today. All of the wonderful benefits that we enjoy came on their blood, their sweat, and their tears. And it's up to us. We are the spearheads. We are the trailblazers that are going to reestablish and stabilize this economy. This is a global war we're fighting now. It is up to us to make a stand and make the sacrifices that we need to make to bring that work back to American soil. These multi-billionaire conglomerate slavers, modern-day slavers, must give back some of the multi-billions that they're raping and robbing from the global workforce today. Not just us. We are the ones that nobody else is going to do it. We're the ones that are going to have to make a stand. Bring the steel back. Bring the textiles back. Bring the technology back. Regulate. NAFTA, CAFTA. These are direct attacks on the working people of the world today. And I can say in the words of Popeye the Sailor, we can't take no more. I've had enough. We can't take no more. We got to eat our spinach and work in the way that Frederick Douglass taught us, the great slave abolitionist, who said, the limits of a tyrant are prescribed by the endurance of those whom they oppress. Find out what a person will submit to, and you have found the exact amount that will be heaped upon him. So I won't go on. I won't carry on. I won't belabor. But I have to give you the classic that I give you traditionally every year. The famous bridge builder. But before I give you the bridge builder, I must remind you that we have a president in office now that will listen to us if we make a stand. This stimulus package is okay. It's a Band-Aid on a broken leg. It's a temporary fix. And we as the Longshore ILWU have to recognize, realize that instant gratification, Brother Henry Pelham, will not give us long-term stability. That's right. We're going to have to make some short-term sacrifices. Maybe we have to make a stand. I know for a fact that my father and the old-timers would not put up with the attacks, the little attacks. They're hitting us, very subtle attacks, trying to control the hall, trying to control, the hiring, trying to control, even this twig.
That's right. That's right.
People that have served their time, got their records clean, have viable means of support, attacking them and taking their means of support away from them, that's a direct attack on labor. So I'll close with the bridge builder. An old man traveled a lonely highway. He came at evening, cold and gray, to a chasm vast, deep, and wide, that he had to cross to the other side. The old man crossed in the twilight dim, for that sullen stream meant no fears for him. But he turned as he crossed to the other side and began to build a bridge to span the tide. A pilgrim who was standing there said, "Oh man, you're wasting your time building here. Your journey will end at the close of the day, and you never again will pass this way. You've crossed the chasm, vast, deep, and wide. Why build a bridge at evening tide?" Harry Bridges, Bill Chester, Leroy King, Cleophas Williams, Joe Mosley lifted their head, Son, the path that I have come, there followeth me a youth someday, whose feet must also pass this way. This stream that has meant nothing to me, to the young man a pitfall might be. He too must cross in the twilight dim. Good friend, I'm building this bridge for him. And one more thing, Clarence Thomas gave me an excerpt from his speech. 75 years ago, I can tell you it was illegal. Interracial interaction was illegal. It was illegal for my mother and father to get married in the state of California. And at that time, Harry Bridges said, if there's only 2 jobs on the poor, one should go to a black man and one should go to a white man, because we would destroy the boss's tactic of divide and conquer. And I'm going to read an excerpt from Clarence Thomas's speech. Our Clarence Thomas. Clarence Mustafa Abdul Thomas. And it's lessons learned from the 1934 strike on the 75th anniversary. I'm going to read an excerpt at the bottom here. We should all get a copy of this. Racial and class conflicts were confronted by the West Coast ILA. Harry Bridges understood the class struggle and its relationship to racial discrimination. He said discrimination is a tool of the bosses. In the February 15, 1938 issue of the ILWU Dispatcher on the economics of prejudice, Bridges wrote, prejudice means profit for the boss, for the worker, black and white. It means lower living standards, humiliation, violence, and often death. Thank you. Let's continue to struggle. Let's continue to fight so that all working people can walk this land with the dignity of a first-class citizen, where character, not color, is the criterion of respectability.
Thank you, Ben. Our next speaker is going to be a lady, and I hope she's here, Sabrina Jones.
Thank you. Good morning, all. 75 years of a journey to success. In the early 19th century, a multitude of workers on the waterfront developed a great hunger to exceed unlimited heights of ability to provide, protect, and produce an abundance of fruitfulness that would reach as high as heaven's doors to all longshoremen and their families. 75 years to a journey to success. Finally, the formation of the ILA was established. But like the seeds placed in the soil for strong growth, where no water is given, the employers were able to impose plots of self-destruct, the union which produced a fragile workforce. 75 years of a journey to success. A competent young longshoreman named Harry Bridges led a rebuilt ILA that later became the ILWU, which withstood and survived countless strikes, the Great Depression, past recessions, and the historic strike of July 5th, 1934 in San Francisco, where the police shot 3 men, and out of the 3, 2 strike supporters were killed, named Howard Sperry of the Defense Committee and Nick Bourdois, a merchant seaman cook. 75 years of a journey to success. Cleopas Williams once said, bosses were successful at keeping the past from the future longshoremen. And he warned, if we don't know who we are and what our struggles were, then there's no understanding of our real accomplishments. 75 years of a journey to success. Joe Johnson also said, if you help the guy at the bottom of the social ladder, you'll bring everything up with you. And that's what a union's about. 75 years of a journey to success. Do we discern the employer's past and present tool to inflict discrimination upon you and I? 75 years of a journey to success. Future, Do we possess a fertile decisiveness within the union which possess as a powerful insecticide which wards off the employers that intends to rob you and I of the fruits of our labor? 75 years of a journey to success. Who is an injury to one is an injury to all.
Thank you. Mike Villagiani, is he around?
Yes, sir.
Oh, here he is. I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Mike Villagiani.
I just want to thank everybody for participating in the procession. It was very much a success. There was an article in the paper yesterday about us, and it said in 1934 it was a turning point for unions. In today's world, and 2009, it's a turning point because the same things are going on that happened in 1934. High unemployment, housing, people losing their houses, banks are failing. There's just so much being put on unions in today's world. I hear stuff on the TVs talking about it's the union's fault. The state is going broke because the union workers that work for the state are paid too much. And I have some relatives that work in the DMV, and they're now taking a 3-day cut a month of pay. That's quite a bit of money for them. And we must reflect that it's not the workers' fault. Let's look on the top. Look at the corporate CEOs that are taking $16 million bonuses to make a company, to bury a company. But they're going to blame the worker. And it's not the worker. And I want to reflect that the union needs union members to participate. Not just say the union is going to do this for me. The membership has to participate. No matter what union you're in, the ILWU or any other union in this country, you need to keep your officials and your union strong. And the membership turns the other way. Say, I don't see that. Well, it's on you then, brothers and sisters. So let's reflect on it. Stay positive, because for 75 years this union has, like Sister Brenda said, that we've survived so many attacks, and they're attacking us again, and we're going to prevail and fight back and stay strong, but it's the membership that needs to do it. Enjoy yourselves, and I hope everybody has a nice day. Solidarity, brothers and sisters.
Thank you very much. You know, now we're coming to the conclusion, and I could smell the food, so I want to kind of hurry up and get to it. But, you know, before we do that, I think I would be remiss of not to acknowledge, you know, the people who've been very responsible for making this the event that it is today, you know. I can remember a good friend of mine when Bob Rohatch and those guys were upstairs, and they had Bloody Thursday, and sometimes they wouldn't have 20 people here. And to see the crowd, to see the march, to see the performance that went on at Stewart and later brought down here, to me, this is just really gratifying. You know, we have these people who we call on to do a lot of stuff for us, and I know they get consideration all the time, but, you know, let's give it up for Josh and the drill team. All right. What a great... They're not only the flag bearer for the ILWU Local 10, but they do a lot of things for the international. And, you know, every time I see one of their performances, I'm so proud, you know. Also, let's give it up for Obama, because you would not have the building of this event like it is today if it wouldn't be for Obama and Frank Cressy and those guys who saw fit to put money in to make certain that you have a great time. You know, like they do things not only for us, but you know who they do things for? It's the kids. I mean, when you see an event where they got kids, they do the finger painting, they have the candy cotton and all of that. Those kids might not know what Bloody Thursday is, but you know what? they know it caused them to have this fun that they have in the day, you know. So, with Frank Cressy, Bomber, ILWU, Local 10, 3491, I mean, what a great event it is. You know, I belong to another association where they say, those who forget, condemned to repeat. We don't want to forget. We got a glorious history. You know, a lot of times people make you want put closure, want closure on your history so they can continue to do what they've done all the time. So to have this event today and have people turn out and have all of these wonderful speakers, God bless them. God bless you guys. But we're going to have a ballad to Harry Bridges by Marie Shell. This is Harry's granddaughter.
Thank you very much for inviting me to sing today. I'm very honored to be Harry's granddaughter and very honored to be a part of the ILWU legacy. It's very moving to me today to have my own children, a 3-year-old and my other son who's 9 months, and to think that they may be inspired by the energy that's here today, and that all the other children who are here today will be inspired to continue this legacy of bringing social justice to the world, and that's just so moving to me. And when my little boy turns around in a store and says to the clerk or to the bus driver, "Thank you," I think, wow, I'm raising him right. That's how I was raised, to honor workers. And I honor all of you today and show you my gratitude. When I've been singing this song around the house, my little boy says, "Mommy, why were the bosses scared?" And I get to tell him about the power that workers have when they come together to ask for what they want. And it's a lesson I hope he'll take with him for the rest of his life. So this is the Ballad of Harry Bridges, sung by the New Almanac Singers way back when Harry was on trial. That was Woody Guthrie and Pete Seeger and some other fine folks. And I have Sean Hodge and Blake Williams helping me on the song today. And sing along with the chorus. Let me tell you of a sailor, Harry Bridges was his name, an honest union leader who the bosses tried to frame. He left home in Australia to sail the seas around. He sailed across the ocean to land in Frisco town. There was only a company union, the bosses had their way. A worker had to stand in line for a lousy $1 a day. When up spoke Harry Bridges, us workers gotta get wise. Our wives and kids will starve to death if we don't get organized. Oh, the FBI is worried, the bosses, they are scared. They can't deport 6 million men, they know. And we're not gonna let them send Harry o'er the sea. We'll fight for Harry Bridges and build the CIO. They built a big bonfire round the Matson lines that night. They threw their fake books in it and they said, "We're gonna fight. We've got to get a living wage or we're gonna take a walk." They told it to the bosses, but the bosses wouldn't talk. They said there's only one way left to get that contract signed. So up and down the waterfront they threw a picket line. They called it Bloody Thursday, the 5th day of July. 100 men were wounded and 2 were left to die. Oh, the FBI is worried, the bosses, they are scared. They can't deport 6 million men, they know. And we're not gonna let them send Harry o'er the sea. We'll fight for shipping bosses said. And if he won't accept a bribe, we'll say that he's a red. The bosses brought a trial to deport him o'er the sea. But the judge said he's an honest man, I gotta set him free. Then they brought other trials to frame him if they can. But right by Harry Bridges stands every working man. Oh, the FBI is worried, the bosses, they are scared. They can't deport 6 million men, they know. And we're not gonna let 'em send Harry o'er the sea. We'll fight for Harry Bridges and build the CIO. One more time, everybody. Oh, the FBI is worried. The bosses, they are scared. They can't deport 6 million men, they know. And we're not gonna let 'em send Harry o'er the sea. We'll fight for Harry Bridges and build the CIO. Thank you very much. Have a great day, everybody.
Well, I have to start by saying what a proud grandfather I am, and great-grandfather. I know it gets a bit confusing sometimes. I'm really very honored to be here today. This has come to change my life. So, speaking as Harry, you know, I can usually come up with some words for an occasion, but this is a tough one. But one thought I've had is this, that on July 5th, 1934, when the two men were shot, when they took the bodies away, we went there with chalk and we marked the outline of their bodies and we put some flowers down. And the police came and rubbed out the chalk marks and kicked away the flowers. And we went back and we marked the chalk line again and put more flowers down. And that time we stood guard. Well, today, in 2009, we have the lines here in paint. And no one is ever going to rub those lines out again. And really, just the other thing I want to say, and it's an old message. We all know that these are tough times for American workers right now. And there are workers who've lost their jobs. There are workers who've lost their homes. Well, unfortunately, that's all part of the capitalist system. That's why, personally, I was always a Marxist. But anyway, that's another story. The thing about capitalism, you have these big highs when the rich get richer, and you have the big lows when the poor get poorer. That seems to be the cycle it's in. But I want you to really remember that the men and women who founded this union, we had come through a Great Depression. We'd come through newspapers saying there was a Red Army massing in the foothills. We'd come through the situation of having machine gun nests at the end of every pier down the Embarcadero. And we still won that fight. And we won it because of one reason only, and it's the most important thing about the labour movement, and it's that we had solidarity. That's the most important word in the labour movement.
know if they do try to do that, it's going to hit the fan.